All right, let's dive in. Today we're exploring that fascinating, blurry line between what's actually scary and what just feels scary. We're going to look at how an innocent toy can basically become an internet monster, what ancient Egyptians can teach us about facing the unknown, and even how to decode the kind of weird signals your own body is sending you. Let's get started. First up, you've probably seen this mischievous little face popping up all over your social media feed. It's called Labubu. And if you've been online at all recently, you might have heard the whispers, the warnings, the wild conspiracy theories. So let's just ask the big, spooky question outright. Are these dolls actually evil? To get to the bottom of that, we're going to start by looking at how a modern myth is born. And then, and this is the cool part, we'll see how our fascination with the strange connects us directly to some of the most ancient and elaborate rituals in all of human history. Yeah, it's a journey from viral hashtags all the way to sacred tombs. So how did we even get here? Well, Labubu started out in 2015 as this whimsical character in a book, inspired by playful spirits from Nordic folklore. Fast forward to 2019, and the toy company Potmart turns it into a massive collectible craze with their blind boxes. But then, just last year, things got weird and kind of dark. Suddenly, hashtags like demon dolls started trending, and this quirky little character was being recast as something sinister, sparking genuine fear online. But what about the person who actually created Labubu? Well, Kissing Long has been super clear about this. He designed the character to be a kind-hearted little trickster, playful and curious. As this quote shows, that whole sinister reputation, it wasn't part of the plan at all. It was basically manufactured online, a story created out of thin air. And that, right there, reveals the real story. The danger isn't in a little plastic doll. Come on. The thing that should actually give you the chills is how quickly a completely baseless rumor can catch fire online, turning a piece of art into an object of fear without a single shred of evidence. This impulse to make up stories about things we don't understand is, it's not new at all. Long before the internet ever existed, ancient cultures developed these incredibly complex rituals to confront the ultimate unknown, death itself. To really see this in action, let's take a trip back in time to ancient Egypt. So when we think of mummification, our minds usually go straight to horror movies. But for the ancient Egyptians, this was a sacred science. Seriously, every single step had a deep spiritual purpose. They'd remove the brain, get this, because they thought it was basically just useless filler. But the heart, which they believed was the center of your intelligence and soul, was carefully left inside for judgment in the afterlife. After other organs were preserved, the body was dried out in natural salt and then meticulously wrapped. This wasn't something scary. It was a deeply respectful way to prepare someone for eternity. Okay, so from man-made myths and ancient rituals, let's turn to some truly unsettling stuff from the natural world. These are the things that can literally get under your skin. Let's start with the botfly. Okay, the process it uses is pure nightmare fuel. It cleverly attaches its eggs to a mosquito. Then, when that mosquito bites a person, our body heat makes the eggs hatch, and the larvae burrow right into our skin. The scientific name for this whole horrifying event is meiosis. It's a parasitic strategy that is both disturbingly clever and, let's be honest, deeply unpleasant. But here's the reassuring part. As absolutely horrifying as that whole idea is, a botfly infestation is almost always more creepy than it is dangerous. The larva can be safely removed by a doctor, and complications are super rare. So while it's a definite nope from us, a little bit of knowledge transforms that panic into just a manageable and kinda gross problem. Now, let's talk about a much more common and, frankly, a genuinely more dangerous creature, the tick. See, unlike the botfly, the real threat from ticks isn't the bite itself, but what they can pass on to you while they're feeding. These tiny little arachnids are vectors for some serious illnesses like Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which can have major long-term health consequences if you don't treat them quickly. Okay, so this is where knowing the right technique is absolutely critical. Getting them out properly is key to lowering your risk of infection. You've got to use fine-tipped tweezers, get as close to the skin as you possibly can, and pull straight up. No twisting, no jerking. Afterward, clean the area really well and just keep an eye out for any symptoms like a rash or a fever. This is practical, need-to-know stuff that can genuinely protect your health. All right, we've looked at myths, we've looked at nature. For our final section, let's bring our focus inward. Because some of the most mysterious and most important signals we can ever learn to read come from our own bodies. Now, I know, this is not exactly dinner table conversation, but it is incredibly useful information. The Bristol stool chart is a real medical tool that helps you understand your digestive health with just a simple visual guide. It sorts things into 7 types. Types 3 and 4 are generally what you're aiming for. They show your system is working well. The ends of the spectrum, so types 1 and 2 or 5 through 7, are pretty clear signals of things like constipation or diarrhea. And beyond shape, color is another huge clue. Brown is standard, healthy, but other colors tell a story. Green might just mean your food moved through your system a little too fast. Yellow and greasy could point to a problem with absorbing fat. But the real red flags, literally, are black or bright red. These can be a sign of bleeding in your digestive tract, and that's a clear signal that you should talk to a doctor.
And finally, let's talk about a reflex we all try to stop, the cough. Here's the thing. A cough isn't the problem. It's your body's brilliant solution. It's this powerful reflex designed to blast irritants and germs out of your airways. When you try to hold it in, you're actually just trapping all that mucus, which can increase your risk of infection. It's your body's built-in cleaning crew, and it's probably best to just let it do its job.
So, from a misunderstood doll to the rituals of the ancients and the signals from our own digestive systems, there's a really powerful thread connecting all of it, isn't there? Knowledge gets rid of fear. When we just take a second to understand the why behind something, whether it's a crazy viral rumor or a weird bodily function, we replace anxiety with agency. It really leaves us with a final thought. What other mysteries could we solve if we always chose understanding over fear?